I think one of the lessons I've learned is to accept people how they are. And as a mom, I totally felt like I knew my children so well that I knew what they should be studying. I knew what grades they should be getting. I knew which sports they should be playing. And I didn't do it, I didn't feel like I was doing it in a controlling way. But I think when I realized that I should let them be who they are, and they will take it from there. And then their grades will change, and they'll be studying what they wanted. And a perfect example is our middle son, who really didn't like sports. Yet we felt like, oh gosh, everybody's playing sports. You've got to play sports. You've got to play soccer. And so, and our oldest did like sports, but one spring, we said, we're not going to make you play soccer if you don't want to. And they decided not to. And it was kind of like, oh no, now on Saturdays we're going to be sitting at home and everybody's going to be at the soccer field. And sure enough, there we were, drinking our coffee, waving at everyone as they drove away to these very stressful Saturdays of soccer games and things. And our kids started digging a hole. And they found a little place behind a bush. They dug a hole, and they dug it. It ended up by the end of summer being about 4 feet deep by about 4 feet wide, and everybody wanted to come over and dig this hole with them. There was no purpose to the hole. There was no award to get at the end of the hole, and you could do it every day and stay very focused, and it was one of the best summers they ever had. But it was letting go of something that they weren't and being okay with that. Our youngest son, just a football fanatic, and we had to learn, and my husband knew a little bit more than me about football, but we learned everything about football, where the players went to college, all the plays that I didn't have any ideas about. And suddenly we had this language that we could actually have a conversation in. So if you have a child that's interested in something that you don't think maybe they should be on the career to college and volunteering and playing an instrument and learning a language, and not just spending every afternoon on GarageBand creating music. But if you let them do what they love and you learn as much about it as you can, you forge this bond with them that you would never have if you were constantly driving them towards something that they don't want. So that was one of my biggest lessons, letting them be who they are and then immersing myself in it. Like, I think another example is Pokemon. I got this little Pokemon master book and I read it from front to cover. So I could say, oh, who's Pikachu changed into now? And what? And I'd say, well, I'm a Pokemon master. And they'd roll their eyes, but they loved it. And we'd have all these conversations about the Pokeballs and which they're changing into next. And it was so much fun. Rather than what I started doing was, you can't watch that show, it's too violent. Into embracing it, and suddenly it's one of their greatest memories that we'd look at all the cards together. So accepting people for who they are is huge.